there wasn't much they could do about the famine. For the famine was there and it was ravaging the whole land. There was not much they could do about their leprosy, for at that time there was no cure for leprosy. Right. There wasn't much that they could do, and so they started to reason amongst themselves. And they said, well, you know what? If we stay here, we're going to die. If we go back to the city, we can't even go back to the city because we're not even allowed there. So if we went there, we certainly would die because there's no food to be found. And even so, we're not even allowed to come close to anyone else, anyone else's civilization. So we stay here, we die. We go to the city, we die. To them, there was only one option left. It said, you know, if we go to the camp of the Syrians, we know that, you know, the Syrians had just ravaged Israel, so we know that they have food. We know that they have sustenance. We know that there are supplies there to be had. Right. So maybe, just maybe, that's the only option that we have that doesn't incur sudden death. So why don't we, you know, if we're going to die anyways, you know, if all the other options are leading to death anyways, why not just pick up and go for it? Yes, it seems scary because remember, these were their enemies. Right. The Syrians were their sworn enemies, and Syrians didn't take kindly to the Israelites. And not only did they not take kindly to Israelites, but these men were lepers. So there was no real reason for the Syrians to have mercy on these 4 men. But they reasoned among themselves, you know what? If we stay here, we're going to die. And if we go back to the city, we're going to die. So why not just take a chance and go forward and see if maybe they'll have mercy on us. Lord have mercy. This morning, I'm asking us to take a look at the bigger picture. Right. Because so many of us are stuck in a situation where we feel that there's no end. We feel that if we stay, and we know that if we stay in our situation, then death is imminent. We know that if we stay in the place where we are, then our spirit will shrivel up and die. Right. We know that if we stay stagnant and we don't do anything, that we know that our life, our spiritual life, will come to an end. Things may look okay on the outside, but we know that death is imminent. But we also know that we can't go back to where we've come from. Right. For we know that in the world is nothing but death. Even though the pleasures of sin may endure for a time, the end thereof is death. Yeah. We know that we can't go back to the camp from where we came from, even though it's attractive, even though it seems that things are better for their people, there are support systems, there's fun, or whatever the case may be. We know that we can't go back. Can't go back. But you see, the problem is for some of us that things of this world look so enticing, and sometimes they try and draw us to come back. They make us look at the situation where we are and make us look that, you know what, we're in the situation we're supposed to be living for the Lord, and yet I'm enduring these trials, I'm enduring these heartache, I'm enduring this pain. Why is it that, you know, the people that are left back in the world, they're still living large and living off the hog, as our pastor would say, they're living up, they're doing well. Sometimes we look at ourselves, we look at our situation, we say, my God, how is it that, you know, I'm trying to serve the Lord, I'm trying to walk uprightly, and I'm looking at the wicked, and they're just doing things their own way and flourishing. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when you start to look at it, you start to get a little frustrated. You start to say, well, Lord, you know, what's up? Really? You said you supply all my needs, but right now I'm hurting, and I don't see any relief. I don't see any relief in my situation. Sometimes it makes you look at where you are and say, you know what, sometimes I wonder if it wouldn't be better to go back in the world and have everything I need. I don't know about you, but I'm being real this morning. I'm being real this morning. Sometimes when we look back, when we do look back, we seem to think that, you know what, I wonder if it wouldn't be. We start to think, well, you know, what would have happened? Where might I be if I was still, you know, hanging with these people? Or we start to think back, you know, maybe I'd have a nice house on the hill, and maybe I have X, Y, and Z. Right. But there was another man who started to look at the wicked and started to look at where he was, and he saw the wicked, how they were prosperous. He saw how they were living large and they had everything they needed and most things that they wanted, and how he was struggling day by day just to make it through. And he said he started to look at the wicked and his feet almost slipped. Why? Because he was focusing his eyes on the wrong place. He was looking behind to where he had come from, and he was allowing the enticements of the world to draw him back. He was allowing the comfortable, seemingly comfortable state of the wicked to entice him and to draw him back. And so that's what happens when you turn your eyes in a different direction. Wherever your eyes are focused, that's the way you start walking. Wherever your eyes are focused, that's where you're going to start drifting to, even though you don't necessarily mean to go in that direction. When your eyes are focused focused in a certain place, then you drift in that area. So if your eyes are focused on the world this morning, don't be surprised if you wake up one day and you find yourself in the midst of it.
My God.
For wherever your eyes are focused, that's where you'll go. And that's why we sing that song, turn your eyes upon Jesus. And look full. Not look partially. Not look with one eye to him and one eye to the world. But look full in his wonderful face. Because there's something that happens when you look full in his wonderful face. The things of this world grow strangely dim. You start to realize, how is it that I ever even wanted the things of this world? How is it that I ever even thought those as enticing or pleasurable? How is it that I ever had a taste for the things of the world? When you look to the Lord, everything else grows strangely dim, because there's something about the light in which he dwells in, that glory in which he dwells in. We had a Bible study yesterday and we were talking about Paul's conversion, and how when he saw the light, he was blinded. It blinded him because the light was so intense and he couldn't see anything else in the natural. But when we turn our eyes, our spiritual eyes, to the Lord, to Jesus Christ, it makes everything else we don't even see the things of the world anymore. They become absolutely blind to the world, because those things just don't matter to us. We're so captivated and in tune with the Lord.
That's right.
Where are our eyes set this morning? Where are your eyes set this morning? For you see, we talked about this man who in Psalm said that he was looking to the wicked, and because he was so focused on the wicked, his feet almost slipped. But his feet almost slipped because he caught a hold of himself.
That's right.
He started to look at the bigger picture, and he started to realize that, you know what, I may be struggling right now, but I'm struggling for a purpose. My struggle, this pain, this situation that I'm enduring is for a purpose. And you see, the wicked who seem to be living up right now, enjoying themselves right now, their end will come. See, this is their heaven. This is their rejoicing right now. And this is their reward. So they're living their reward right now and will enjoy their eternal reward in damnation if they don't change their ways. But this struggle that I'm going through, it's for a purpose. It's for a reason.
That's right.
Our situation is meant to bring us a revelation.
That's right.
And like Pastor said this morning, sometimes we don't understand it. We don't comprehend it. We can't grasp it. For remember, the Lord's ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. What the enemy meant for your evil, what the enemy meant to use to destroy you, to kill you, to bring you on your face, and to bring you to the point where you feel as if there's nothing left in you, that very situation in which you find yourself and where you feel you're stuck, you feel you can't go any further, the Lord has meant it for your good. But it's all in your attitude. The end result is all in your attitude.
That's right.
For these 4 leprous men that we read of this morning, they started to look at the bigger picture. They started off looking at themselves, which is what we often do. We often look at our situation and we lament our situation. We cry over it. We lament. We try and understand it. We're trying to comprehend the situation. But the situation is what it is.
Right.
Oftentimes, there's not much we can do to change the situation.
Right.
These leprous men couldn't, by any magical means, end the famine that was in the land, nor could they end their leprous state.
That's right.
But what they could do was change their attitude. What they could change was their perception of the situation.
Right.
For you see, everyone else at this time was singing doom and gloom and singing destruction, because all they could do was see with their natural eyes. All they could do was see their situation, the state in which they were, and they couldn't see any beyond that. But these leprous men decided that since they couldn't change the situation, they would change their outlook.
That's right.
So they said, why sit here until we die?
Right.
We know that if we go into the city, then death is imminent. There's no way we'll live. And if we stay here, then we'll also die.
Right.
But there's one other option. There's one other option, and that is to go forward.
Go forward.
That is to sail on.
That's right.
To go forward, to leave the place where we are now, and to move forward.
Yes.
But you see, it takes a little something, because you can't just go forward sitting still. Now it seems to be so simple, but if you're going to go forward, you actually have to get up and move.
Yes.